What's up, everyone? Welcome to the vlog. And well, it's been actually a very long time since I've recorded a video. It's actually been a couple of weeks, maybe, and I think it sometimes it really feels like I'm doing this for the first time. So if I do mumble or if I say anything that's messed up, don't judge me. In any case, in today's video, I want to talk about some tips regarding the upcoming career fairs in your college. And I thought this might be the appropriate time to do it because I know that this week there were a couple of career fairs, and I know that they're gonna have more career fairs uh, in the next coming weeks, in the next couple of weeks at least. So just in case you are preparing for it, or maybe you're doing a research, maybe this video might help you because I'm not going to talk about a lot of stuff that you can actually Google, but I just want to mainly talk about stuff that helped me. So whatever I talk about in this video is solely based on my own experience, things that I've done, things that I've learned from different career fairs that I've gone to. I have been for over maybe 5-6 career fairs in Dubai and in the USA. So I've made a couple of mistakes, and I've spoken to different people, different employers, and I somehow have an understanding of how to approach them and things of that sort, which is what I want to talk about in this video. So I don't want to make this I don't want to make this very, what's that word? I don't know, cliche maybe, because I know a bunch of people on YouTube could talk about career fairs, and there are amazing tutorials, but I just want to talk about my own experience and based on which I'm giving this advice. So let's go. Oh yeah, and before getting into this video, I want to say that I also recorded a podcast a couple of weeks ago where I talk about preparing for the career fair. And in this one, I talk about how to prepare for it a couple of weeks before you get to the career fair. So if you still have time, maybe you should listen to that podcast. I will post a link to that podcast in this video, and hopefully that might be of some value to you as well. So I'm having a book in my hand because sometimes I forget the key points that I want to talk about in some videos maybe. So I want to make sure that I don't forget anything, and although this might make me look unprepared, it will just help me to talk about stuff that I know about. It'll help me not to forget the important key points, and that's just going to be that's going to be really valuable to you. So I don't want to pretend that I know everything in my head. I definitely have to jot it down to make sure that all the information is organized in order that for you to consume it and to get some value from it. So it's just 4 points really. The first thing that I want to talk about is the mindset that you need to have on the day of your career fair. Now, granted that you have done all your research about the companies, and you have done some research about what they do, maybe a couple of projects that they have worked on, and you probably have a couple of companies, like your top 5 companies that you would want to work for, which is great. But you need to make sure that you go with the right mindset. You don't want to just go to them and be like, hey, I want a job, or hey, I want this internship. So the mindset, or the best way I thought I could put this was in a form of a question, which is the approach of, how can I help you? Right? So when you go to a company, when you're at the career fair, right, and you're meeting this employer, you want to have that approach, or you want to have that mindset of, how could I help this company? How could I help them with my skills? It could be maybe you're interning over there. How could that internship help them? What could be the ROI for yourself as well, if you're in that position? But more importantly, you got to think about the company, what is how can I use my skills that I have to make sure I can provide value to this company. That's what you need to, that's the mindset you need to have when you approach them, because everyone's gonna go and directly probably hand off maybe your resumes and whatnot, which is fine. But when you have that approach, you will have a very good conversation with the employer. So when you approach them, you can be like, hey, so you talk about things that they have done, or maybe why have you selected this company, what attracted you, which leads me to my second point actually, which is know your companies. So like I said before, you've done your research already, you know what the company has done, but it has to be way more than that. You don't want to just go be like, hey, because I saw this position open on your company, on your website, so I thought, I should apply. You should mention that, but not like, that's not your opening point. You should just be like, hey, so maybe I've heard about your company, I've seen a couple of projects that you have done, which was really exciting because this is something that I've done in my classes, or I'm working on something very similar, which is why this was an attractive position for me. Or maybe you could say, hey, I haven't really worked on this, but that seemed like an opportunity of a lifetime where I could, get a chance to intern at this company to work on this project. So you kind of have to have that approach. So you have to be very observant of what the company does. And when you go talk to the employer, make sure that you project that. You project that you know about the company, you know their values, especially, like, I think that's something I should have said that in the beginning, knowing the company's values, which most companies nowadays post that on their website. When you go to any let's take Amazon for example. Again, very cliche, but let's take Amazon. They actually have a specific section dedicated to what are their values, and you need to, and when you read that, and when you show them that you know that, it shows that you actually have interest in what the company does in terms of and what they value. And a lot of companies these days have that section on their website saying, maybe in the about section, or maybe they actually have a direct link that says, hey, these are our values or whatnot. So make sure you pay attention to that. Don't just think about how smart you are, or you might have the skills, you know how to code, or maybe you're the best, you're the math guru or whatever. That's all fantastic, but you need to make sure that you understand the company's value, because that's something that they really consider, especially if it's a manager that you're talking to, or it could be maybe a recruiter, it could be anyone. You need to make sure that you need to show that you project that. So I think I'm pretty clear on, so what I've covered so far was mindset and knowing a company, their values. So I think the next thing I want to talk about is, I guess, the physical gesture, which is make sure you greet them before you just hand them your resume. So I mentioned this again, I think previously in the video as well, but I've seen some people when they're in the career fair and they walk to an employer, the first thing they do is like, I kind of wish I had someone over here to, act this with, but like, this is the gesture, like this. Imagine this is a resume. That's the first thing they do, right? Now, it probably works, but if I was an employer, I would kind of wish the guy shook my hand first. Like, shake my hands, greet me, say like, what's up, just something. Even though you're talking to someone, like the employers are talking to like, I don't know, 100 people per second. Okay, that's just messed up. But like at least 100 to 200 people a day, right? But again, he's a human being or she is a human being. So just shake hands. Hey, nice to meet you. How's your day going so far? I'm sure you had a lot of candidates. And, just something to start up a conversation and just be like, hey, so like, this is my resume. So I'll tell you what I've done. And to be really honest, in the career fairs before, I used to also just do that. So I'm pretty guilty of that as well. So I don't want to just say that I'm like the saint over here that, is perfect. I did that a couple of times, and I and I realized what a turnoff that is. So what I usually do is when I go to an employer, I'm just like, hey, hi, how are you? How are you doing? How's your day going so far? Just to have a conversation with the person. End of the day, they're a human being, right? So just say hi and whatnot. Then you talk about yourself. So some usually the employers like tell me about yourself, and then I talk about, I introduce myself. I'm like, I'm from Dubai. Give a short description of my background, and then I talk about what I've done at school. I talk about my major, which is cybersecurity. I've worked on a couple of projects. This is what interested me about the company, and so on. And then after some time, the guy's like, hey, so he asked me, hey, so can I have a look at your resume? Do you have your resume on you? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Now, it does not work for everyone. Some employers, they are like, some of them are really tired maybe. So they're going to be like, give me your resume, please, or just, can I see your resume? And that's fine. If they ask for that, that's fine. But make sure you do your part of greeting them, because you need to make sure that they're in a good mood. If you show them that, if you just give them your resume, it's like a computer. You don't want them to you don't want this to be so systematic. You want this to be very, light on you and the person who's talking to you. So just keep that in mind. Greet them, be nice to them, have a conversation, and honestly, I've had the best conversations in the last 3 career fairs that I've gone to because of this. Actually, last 2 maybe, because I've messed up a lot of other stuff. And I've probably messed up some in the past 2 as well. You're not always going to have the perfect conversation, It's at some point you get tired as well. It's a long day. When I was to go for career fairs, it was like, at 9 a.m. in the morning, and by 6 p.m. or by 4:30 p.m. we were done. But there's continuous walking. You barely. Some people don't even go for lunch. I don't think I took like a lunch break, because you're so like, oh, I need to hand my resume to different companies, or you haven't completed it. So it's very overwhelming, So that's one thing. The last thing is what everyone's gonna tell you. And this is not something that you have unheard of. So if I'm saying this, it's nothing new. But I'm going to say it anyways, because it is true. It is not something that you can which is, be confident. Seriously, you have to be confident about at least what you know, right? Be confident about the fact that you got a chance to go to the career fair. If you have made it to the career fair, if you are in a university right now, that means you have something to offer. So don't think that a lot of people are like, man, what do I do at this career fair? I don't even have anything. Then how the hell did you actually end up in the career fair? There's a reason there. You do have some skills that might be valuable to some people. So be confident in yourself. Don't think that you have nothing to offer. You have skills. Maybe you're not good at them, but you can get better at them, right? Maybe you're not good at, I don't know, Java. So you can get better at Java. Maybe you're not the best. No one's perfect. So go with the mindset of saying hey, I'm confident. This is what I've done. You have done projects, right? You have had classes where you have done projects, and tough projects. And at least I know that in computer science, they have really rigorous projects that they do. So come on, that's a lot of work. So talk about that stuff. Talk about the process. Talk about how you went through that process. If you have no work, this is for people who have no work experience especially. Talk about the entire process of how you worked on projects. Talk about the entire process of how you did your assignments, what was tough about it, You always have something to talk about. So always, talk about stuff that you have done. And this is something that I've said before. For me, for example, I'm always more comfortable talking about stuff that I know. For example, I'm recording this video right now. The only reason I'm recording this video is because I've done this. I'm comfortable talking about it because I've done it a couple of times. I've seen employers' reactions. I've seen what conversations work the best, and that's why I'm making this video. I'm not just talking out of my, I'm just not talking bullshit right now. So, just talk about stuff that you know, talk about stuff that's on your resume. And if there's something that's not there, you can talk about that as well. Just make sure that you have done it before, so that you have so that they don't like blind spot you. Oh, I don't even know that's a correct term. And also another thing, people have probably a lot of people will tell you this, but it's okay to say I don't know. The biggest turnoff is saying that you know something and you cannot answer a question based on that. And I've been in that position a billion times. Let me repeat that again. I've been in that position like a billion times, right? So it's really messed up because you say you know something and you don't. So it's really weird. You have to make sure that, and to be honest, if you say that, if you say I don't know, they'll be fine with it. They're like, okay, this guy's honest. Not everybody knows how to do stuff. Everybody is not, no one's perfect. Like I said, just make sure you do you. Talk about stuff you have done. If they say, have you ever learned Python? A little bit. I haven't really done much of it. Or you could say, no, I've never done Python at all. Or I've never done, like, I have never worked on this framework at all. Or I have never built a website ever. That's fine, you know. Just be confident about your stuff that you have on your resume. So, I think to sum it up, well, I guess, so I talked about mindset, knowing your companies, make sure you greet your employer or recruiter before you hand over your resume, and being confident, right? So these are the 4 points I really want to stress about, and I know a lot of people on YouTube, or maybe some people have already told you about this, but it's just something that I want to stress on because I've gone through stuff like this. And you need to make sure that, you know, I just hope that these 4 points stick with you. If at and like if at all this points helped you, please leave a comment on this video. Let me know how it goes, and let me know if I've missed out on anything. For now, I just thought these were the 4 key points that I thought I should stress on because it's just something that I wish a lot of people realized when it comes to, you know, especially the mindset and things of that sort. So just keep that in mind. So, you know, I hope you find some value out of this video. And if you think someone might need help, someone's going to a career fair, and you think this video might be helpful to someone, share it with them. Just, you know, all you got to do is get the link, share it through your WhatsApp, Messenger, whatever, and hopefully it should be valuable to them. And if you have made it this far, thank you for watching this video, because I've probably taken at least more than 10 minutes of your time. But I'm just hoping that that time was worth it. Take care.